These are big dollars and they're hard earned that folks are trading for a durable, highly refined and valuable product. And I just feel like the service you receive ought to match the product itself.
So Kyle, how is the coin and precious metals industry intimidating for buyers?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because I can recall vividly the first purchases that I made and what my experience was. I'd build up a little cash and go into a local coin shop. And coin shops aren't exactly the place for a case study in customer service. There was condescension, there was impatience, got the feeling that they really weren't interested in helping me learn the things that I wanted to know about the industry and about their products. And so traditional coin shops are trying to sell more profitable items like numismatics and rarities and those sorts of things, and they aren't as interested in helping someone who's just getting started investing buy a couple of gold or silver coins for just a few bucks in profit. And more than that, they're really not equipped with any sort of strategy or advice on how to begin investing in gold, silver, and precious metals in a pragmatic and sensible way. And so I felt like I was there to learn how to invest wisely in gold and silver, but I always felt more relieved to walk out the door than leaving feeling like I had really enjoyed the experience.
So if I don't go to a coin shop, how else might I purchase gold and silver?
Well, at the other end of the spectrum, as opposed to the local coin shop, you've got national retailers who will sell to you via the phone or through a website. And so let me start with the website process. When you're purchasing off of a website, you identify the products you want to buy, again, without anybody to help guide you, and you sign a contract effectively for thousands of dollars sometimes for the products that you're buying. And so you've got to send these thousands of dollars either by the mail or by a wire or an ACH and hope it goes through okay. And then you wait for the payment to clear, and then you wait for it to ship, and you hope you're there to sign for it when it gets delivered to you. Otherwise, you got to chase it down at UPS or the FedEx hub. But you've got to do all of this without having a single point of contact who can answer every question about your order and walk you through it. Now, I'm not at all saying that you can't effectively do business through a website. We have a website. We sell through a website. But I'd like to know that on the other side of that screen, that there is someone there who's competent, who cares, that I can get in touch with if I feel like I need to for any reason. These are big dollars and they're hard earned that folks are trading for a durable, highly refined and valuable product. And I just feel like the service you receive ought to match the product itself.
All right, you mentioned that gold and silver can be purchased over the phone. What is that process like?
Well, I've tried that route too, and I don't recommend it at all. So you call in and get connected with a trader, and they might call themselves traders, but they're really salesmen. They're earning a commission paycheck, and they're plugging whatever's going to net them the best return or whatever their sales manager tells them that they're overstocked on. And so I've done this. I've gone this route, and after I had done enough research to know what I wanted, I'd call around, check pricing and that sort of thing, and then place a few orders over the phone over the years. But after I'd placed a few orders, I noticed a funny thing started to happen, and that these guys started calling me. And, I'd pick up the phone and they'd be like, "Hey, Kyle, how's the weather out there?" And he's flipping through his notes. He doesn't know where I am, Tennessee. And he'd say, "We just got in these MS-70, so super high grade coins, and they're Australian kookaburras from PCGS, and they're just so hot, and there's only so many of them made, and we've got them at this incredibly low price. What do you say?" And I reply back, "It seems really expensive for an ounce of silver." And then they would say, "Well, you know what? If you can't come up with the cash right now to buy these, what you could do is you could send us those silver eagles we sold you, 3 months ago, and we'll swap you out." And I'm like, wait a minute. You're trying to get me to send in my staple basic bullion item that you're going to buy from me at a discount and then sell me this numismatic product at a super high premium because it's supposedly rare. That's not a smart move. And that's the kind of thing that I don't like in this industry, and it's something that we want our clients to be wise to.